Tonight, you don't have to figure anything out. Tonight, you only have to rest. And so, gently, we begin. Tonight, you're going to drift through the quiet expanse of geological time. Not the sharp, sudden events that sometimes punctuate Earth's history, but the gentle, patient processes that shape the world with such slowness that they feel like stillness. You're going to float across millions of years, watching landscapes soften, reform, and settle into new shapes, all without rush or demand. Imagine you're beginning a journey, one where time moves differently, stretching out like a calm, endless ocean. There's no need to focus, no need to hold on to anything. You can simply let go and be carried. We'll move through ancient seas, quiet forests, deep caves, and wide plains, observing each peaceful transformation. And throughout this journey, you can drift in and out, arriving anywhere, leaving anywhere, and the gentle rhythm will always welcome you back. There is no urgency, no destination that must be reached. Only the soft, steady unfolding of deep time, cradling you as you let your thoughts become as slow and wide as the landscapes themselves. And now, you find yourself at the edge of a vast, shallow sea millions of years ago. The water stretches out before you, a pale turquoise so clear that you can see the sandy bottom far below, the surface barely disturbed by a breeze, so light it feels like a whisper against your skin. The air is warm and still, carrying a faint scent of salt and wet earth, and the sky above is a hazy, soft blue, without a single cloud. You drift forward, your feet never touching the ground, and as you move out over the water, you find yourself sinking slowly, gently, into the sea. There is no shock of cold, no resistance, only a comfortable weightlessness as the water closes around you. Clear and calm, you descend through sunlit layers, beams of light slanting down and scattering into golden ripples on the seabed. The seafloor below is a vast, undulating plain of pale sand and silt, dotted here and there with dark, rounded pebbles and the occasional fan of a shell, half buried. And all around you, in the water itself, tiny particles are drifting downward, a slow, endless rain of sediment. Each particle is a small piece of a world that once was, a grain of quartz worn from a distant mountain, a flake of clay carried by a river that no longer exists, a speck of mica that catches the light and glints for a moment before spinning gently downward. You watch them fall, so slowly, so peacefully, a single grain taking what feels like an eternity to settle onto the floor. Time moves differently here. The descent of each particle is unhurried, following currents so lazy they barely stir the water. You can follow one tiny grain with your gaze as it spirals, a microscopic dance, turning this way and that, pausing as if suspended by the warmth of the sea, then resuming its patient journey to the bottom. And when it finally comes to rest, it nestles among countless others, adding its presence to a layer that has been accumulating for millennia. For millions of years, one grain at a time. There is no rush. The sea does not demand that the sediment settle faster. The particles do not hurry. They simply drift and settle and rest, and over ages that you cannot comprehend in the moment. They build something vast and ancient. You let your attention soften, taking in the whole scene, the gentle undulation of the seafloor, the way the light shifts slowly as the sun moves across the sky over days that feel like seconds, or perhaps seconds that feel like days. There is a rhythm here, a quiet, steady pulse of deposition. Fine silt settles in thin layers, one after another, like pages in a book that no one will ever read. Coarser sand sometimes arrives in tiny pulses, swept in by a gentle current, spreading in fan shapes across the floor. You see a small, delicate ripple mark preserved in the sediment, formed by water moving back and forth over centuries. A pattern so subtle you could trace it with a finger if you reached out. But you don't reach out. You just float, observing, letting the stillness seep into you. The water holds you in a comfortable suspension, neither sinking nor rising, and the sediment rain continues, constant and soothing. A flake of clay, an invisible bit of organic matter, a dusting of calcium carbonate. Each contributes to the story of the deep, quiet earth, a story told in grains and layers, without words, without urgency. And as you drift there in the ancient sea, you begin to sense a shift, so gradual you could almost miss it. The water above you seems to be receding, not in a sudden withdrawal, but in a slow, patient retreat measured in epochs. The sea level is falling, millimeter by millimeter, century by century, as ice caps grow at distant poles, locking water away in calm, white expanses. The seafloor below you remains peaceful, still accumulating its layers, but the depth lessens, the light grows stronger, and the gentle currents change their paths. You drift with this change, carried without effort into a new part of the journey. There is no break, no pause, just a soft transition, like a breath drawn in sleep. And now, slowly, you find yourself in a different sea, a warmer, shallower sea, where the water is thick with tiny, floating life. You are suspended in a sea of chalk. The water around you is a milky blue, white, warm and buoyant, and as you look closely, you see that it is filled with countless minute spheres, each one no larger than a grain of pollen. These are the remains of coccolithophores, microscopic algae that live in the sunlit upper waters, each one building around itself a delicate armor of calcite plates. They drift, generation after generation, blooming in the soft, nutrient-rich waters, and when their brief lives end, their tiny skeletons sink so slowly, so gently, through the water column, catching the light as they fall, creating the illusion of a perpetual, silent snowfall. You are floating in the middle of this slow descent, surrounded by a blizzard of white specks that never seems to end. They drift past you, some individually, some clumped together in small, fluffy aggregates, all spiraling downward with a grace that invites your eyes to follow. To let go of thought and simply watch, you turn your gaze upward, and through the milky water, you can just make out the surface, a distant shimmer where the sun penetrates and feeds this vast bloom of life. The warmth of that sun, filtered through the shallow sea, wraps around you like a blanket. It's a calm, nurturing warmth, not intense, not demanding. You feel it on your skin, imagined but palpable, and it seems to slow everything down even further. The falling coccoliths tumble in slow motion, their calcite plates catching the light and scattering it into tiny rainbows that flash and fade. Flash and fade. The sea is quiet. No waves, no sound, just the gentle hiss of your own breathing, the soft beat of your heart, and the visual rhythm of white particles drifting down, down, accumulating on the seafloor far below. You let yourself drift closer to that floor, and you see what the snowfall has built over immense stretches of time. The bottom is a soft, white ooze, thick and creamy, layer upon layer of compressed coccoliths. It's a chalky mud that undulates in gentle mounds and hollows, sculpted only by the faintest bottom currents that stir it with a patience beyond measure. If you could watch for 1,000,000 years, you would see the ooze slowly compacting, the delicate plates crushing together, water squeezed out, the sediment turning from ooze to firm chalk, to limestone. But you don't need to watch that long. You can simply be here, now, in this moment of gentle accumulation, and know that the process is unfolding, steady and true. There's something deeply comforting in that, something you don't have to supervise, something that requires nothing from you. The sea does its quiet work, and you rest in the midst of it. You focus on one single coccolith, a tiny wheel of calcite, barely visible. It drifts past your cheek, so close you could almost touch it. You follow it with your gaze as it sways, as it rocks gently from side to side, as it joins a cluster of others and then separates again. Its journey to the seabed takes days, weeks perhaps, and in that time it passes through layers of water at different temperatures, different densities, each a subtle caress. You imagine the feel of that slow sinking, the liberation of falling without fear, of settling into a deep, soft bed after a long, gentle voyage. And there, on the seafloor, it will rest, undisturbed, for eons. It will become part of a rock that one day, far in the future, might be lifted into mountains and admired for its purity. But that future is so distant, it holds no tension, no anticipation, only peace. Slowly, very slowly, the water around you begins to thin. The sea retreats further, and you find yourself rising, as if carried by a warm, invisible current, toward a new landscape. The chalky sediment beneath you gives way to something darker, richer. And now, gently, you are drifting over a vast, flat coastal plain where the water is so shallow it barely covers the ground, and the air is thick with moisture and the scent of vegetation. You have arrived at the edge of a Carboniferous swamp, a place of deep green stillness and quiet accumulation. The swamp stretches out in every direction, a seemingly endless expanse of still water, dark as tea, reflecting the overhanging fronds of giant ferns and the columnar trunks of lycopsids that rise like quiet sentinels. The air is warm and heavy, saturated with humidity, and it carries the soft, earthy perfume of decaying leaves and wood. There is no wind, no sound except the occasional, almost imperceptible drip of water from a frond, and the steady, pervasive hush of vegetation breathing. You are floating just above the water, your reflection shimmering below you. And as you look down, you see the bottom is not mud, but a thick, fibrous mat of fallen plant material. Leaves, bark, spores, branches, all lying in a dark, waterlogged tangle. This is peat, and it is forming as you watch, though so slowly that the motion is invisible. Giant tree ferns lose their fronds, which drift down gently, almost lazily, through the still air, settling on the water's surface. They float for a while, brown and green, before becoming waterlogged and sinking, joining the accumulation below. Lycopsid trunks, tall and straight, eventually fall too, not with a crash, but with a slow, sighing descent as they are undermined by the water, leaning incrementally, inch by inch, year by year, until they lie half, submerged, their bark beginning to peel and mingle with the peat. You drift through this scene, and you feel the profound calm of a world that builds itself from gentle decay, where nothing is wasted, where every fallen leaf adds to a growing store of time. You come to rest, metaphorically, above a single fallen fern frond that lies on the surface. Still partly green, you watch as water slowly soaks its edges, darkening the tissue, pulling it down. It sinks by fractions of a millimeter, so slowly you could count the hours by its progress. Tiny air bubbles cling to its underside, then release one by one, rising to pop silently at the surface. The frond settles onto the peat, adding its delicate pattern to the tapestry. And you know, without needing to analyze, that over immense stretches of time, this material will be buried, compressed, transformed by gentle heat and pressure into coal. But that process is so far off, so gradual, that it feels like an afterthought. Here and now, the swamp is only a place of soft, quiet, endless accumulation. You drift further into the swamp, passing under the drooping canopy of seed ferns. The light here is dim, filtered through layers of green, dappling the black water with slow, moving spots of gold. The air is so still that you can see the fine spores drifting, tiny specks of dust floating horizontally, lifting and falling in currents too subtle to feel. You breathe in the scent of damp earth and ancient vegetation, and you feel your own thoughts slowing, matching the pace of this world. There is no need to think of anything. You can simply be a quiet observer in a quiet world, watching peat grow at the speed of centuries. The repetition is comforting. Frond falls, frond sinks, frond rests, and another falls, and sinks, and rests. An endless, soothing cycle. And as you linger in the Carboniferous swamp, the scene begins to shift, as it always does, without haste. The water recedes, the vegetation changes, and the air grows cooler. You are rising, drifting upward through layers of sediment that will one day bury this swamp. And you find yourself moving through darkness, not a frightening darkness, but a velvety, closed, comforting darkness. You have entered a cave, deep underground, where another kind of accumulation takes place. Drop by patient drop, the darkness here is complete, but you can sense the space around you. Cool, still, filled with a faint smell of damp stone and minerals. The silence is profound, broken only by a sound so rare and gentle that at first you think you imagine it, a soft, liquid tick, far away, then another, minutes apart. A droplet of water, seeping through the rock above, has reached the tip of a stalactite and fallen. You drift through the cave, your presence weightless, until you are suspended before a formation of ancient stone, a cascade of calcite that hangs like a frozen waterfall. The stalactite you face is slender, no thicker than a straw, and from its tip, a single drop of water is slowly gathering. You watch this droplet form. Water, having traveled through pores in the limestone for years, seeps out and hangs, catching the faintest glint of light from an unseen source. It grows, swelling slowly, trembling with surface tension, until it is heavy enough to fall. It releases with a sound that is less a splash and more a sigh, a tiny tap as it hits the tip of a stalagmite rising from the floor below. And in that moment, a microscopic film of calcite is left behind, adding to the length of the stalactite above and the stalagmite below. This has been happening for thousands of years. This same drop, this same tiny deposit, and the formation has grown at the pace of a fraction of a millimeter per decade. You are watching deep time made visible, yet it requires no patience, Because here in the cave, there is no clock, no schedule, only the rhythm of the drop, the slow accumulation of mineral. You let your awareness expand to the whole cave. Around you, other formations take shape in the darkness. Flowstone cascading down walls like candle wax, helictites twisting in improbable spirals, columns where stalactite and stalagmite have met in a long, slow embrace. Each one is the product of water and time, of mineral, laden drops falling, century after century. The air is cool, but not cold, like the air in a basement on a summer day, and it feels clean and still against your skin. You float from one formation to another, observing the way crystals have grown in tiny terraces, in ripples like petrified waves. The cave is a sanctuary of patience, a place where speed is meaningless. Nothing here has ever hurried, and nothing ever will. You return your attention to the single droplet, still forming, still falling. You notice now that the water leaves a faint trail of calcite on the outside of the stalactite as it slides down, and you can see, if you look very closely, the ghostly outlines of ancient flow paths, ridges that have built up over millennia. The mineral water has a slight reddish tint from iron, a pale yellow from organic acids leached from the soil above, and these colors paint subtle bands in the stone. In the stillness of the cave, these bands mark time like the rings of a tree, each one a chapter of patient deposition. You feel yourself breathing in time with the drops, not counting, just following the rhythm, letting it lull you deeper into quiet. There is no here or there, only the soft, steady tap of water joining stone. And after you have rested in the cave for a long, soothing while, you notice a change in the air, a faint current, a slight warming. The cave begins to open, its walls receding, and the darkness lightens to a deep gray, then to a soft dawn. You are being carried outward, upward, through layers of rock that have been laid down over eons, and you emerge into the open air once more, but not at sea level. You are high in a mountain range, a vast chain of peaks that stretches into the distance, their summits softened by time. And yet, these mountains are not sharp or jagged. They are old, very old, worn down by the patient work of water and wind. You find yourself floating high above an ancient mountain, looking down at its rounded, weathered flanks. The rock beneath you is granite, once deep in the Earth's crust, now exposed by the removal of kilometers of overlying material. The air up here is thin and cool, but the sun is warm on your face, and a gentle breeze moves past you, carrying the scent of pine and wet stone. This mountain has been standing for hundreds of millions of years, but it is not the same mountain it once was. It has been softened, reduced, grain by grain, by the most peaceful of forces. And as you drift down its slopes, you can see those forces at work, as slow as breath, as steady as the beat of a heart. You settle onto a broad shoulder of the mountain, where a small stream trickles over a bed of pebbles. The water is crystal clear, barely a finger's depth, and it moves with a quiet, musical murmur. You watch as it flows over the granite, and you notice that the rock beneath the water is smoother than the rock beside it. It has been polished by the constant, gentle passage of water, a process that has been going on for so long that the stream has carved a shallow channel, no more than a few centimeters deep, over the course of millennia. You dip your imagined fingers into the water. It is cool, refreshing, and you feel the tiny grains of sand that the stream carries, each one a fragment of the mountain itself. These grains are the mountain, slowly, gently, being taken to the sea. Erosion here is not a violent tearing away. It is a release, a gradual dissolution, a giving way of particles to the gentle insistence of water. You raise your gaze to the wider slope. Above you, the granite is fractured into blocks, and in the cracks, tiny plants grow, mosses, lichens, small ferns, their roots, so fine they are almost invisible, work their way into the stone, prying it apart at a pace measured in centuries. When a block eventually loosens, it does not crash down the mountainside in a roar. It simply settles, shifts a little, leans slightly further into the soil that has been accumulating around it for ages. And then, over more time, it breaks into smaller pieces, which become stones, which become pebbles, which become sand. The mountain is returning to the earth, particle by peaceful particle, and you feel no sadness in that, only a deep, abiding calm, because you know that this is the way of things, the slow breath of the planet, the endless cycle of uplift and erosion that has no beginning and no end. The breeze picks up slightly, and you see grains of sand lifted from a bare patch of ground, carried a few centimeters, then set down again. Wind erosion, too, is patient and gentle here. It does not scour, it caresses. It polishes the surfaces of boulders until they are smooth and warm to the touch, and it paints the rocks with a patina of age, a dark, glossy varnish of iron and manganese that takes thousands of years to form. You run your hand, in imagination, over such a surface, and it feels like silk, like something that has been loved for a very long time. The mountain is not being destroyed. It is being transformed, slowly, quietly, into soil, into sand, into the building blocks of future landscapes. As you rest there on the mountainside, you become aware of an even slower motion beneath you. The mountain itself is rising, esostatically, as the weight of eroded material is removed and the crust rebounds. This uplift is so slow that the stream in front of you adjusts its course by the width of a hair each century. But it is happening. A deep, quiet breathing of the earth. The combination of uplift and erosion means the mountain, while lowering in height over the very long term, maintains a kind of steady, peaceful equilibrium. It is like a sleeper's chest rising and falling, so gradual that you only notice it if you let your gaze go soft. If you stop trying to measure and simply feel, and you do, you let go of measurement. And you feel the mountain breathing, the stream flowing, the wind moving, all at the tempo of geological time. There is no need to understand it, only to be here within it. Eventually, the mountain slope beneath you seems to tilt, not dangerously, but as if you are sliding slowly into a wider view. You feel yourself lifted again, high above the range, and you look down to see the folds of the earth, the great wrinkles that speak of continental collision long ago. But those collisions, too, were slow, plates moving at the speed of fingernail growth, pressing together over tens of millions of years, building these mountains with a steady, unstoppable patience. Now you are drifting away from the mountains, out over a broad, flat landscape, and you realize you are watching the continents themselves move. You are observing the quiet drift of tectonic plates. From this height, the earth is a serene, almost abstract tapestry of land and sea. You float in a calm, starry space just above the planet, and you see the continents not as fixed masses, but as rafts of lighter rock floating on a deeper, denser layer of the mantle, they move so slowly that a human lifetime sees less than a meter of displacement. But over the eons you can witness, metaphorically, the gentle ballet of India nudging into Asia, of the Atlantic widening millimeter by millimeter, of South America and Africa still holding the ghost of their ancient union in their coastlines. There is no collision, no grinding. In your view, only a silent, graceful shifting, like clouds parting, like a deep, restful sigh. The mid-ocean ridges, where new crust is born, are not explosive. They are places where warm, buoyant rock rises, cools, and spreads outward in a slow, steady flow, a process as gentle as honey poured from a spoon. You zoom in your mind, on a single section of a mid-ocean ridge. The water is deep and dark, but you can see the faint glow of hydrothermal vents, not violent geysers, but soft, wavering plumes of mineral, rich fluid that seep from the seafloor. The fluid is warm, not scalding, and it mingles with the cold seawater, precipitating tiny particles of metal sulfides that drift upward in lazy spirals. Around these vents, life thrives in a quiet, slow, motion abundance. Tube worms waving in the current, their red plumes moving in time with your own breathing, it seems. The vents are a gentle pulse of the Earth's interior, a calming reminder that even the deep, hot rocks below move, with a slowness that dwarfs all human concerns. New crust forms here at the rate of centimeters per year, and as it forms, it pushes the plates apart, sending continents on their way. You drift with that movement, floating on the back of a tectonic plate, carried along without any effort. The entire planet, a cradle. You watch as the continents rearrange themselves over hundreds of millions of years, but you do not track their journey with any sense of direction. You simply observe the patterns they make, the way shallow seas flood the interiors, the way mountain belts rise where plates converge, the way islands form over hot spots like pearls on a string. Each change is a soft transition, a slow dissolve from one configuration to the next. There is no drama, only the steady, unstoppable beauty of a planet that knows how to wait. And you, floating here, learn to wait as well, to let your thoughts drift at the pace of continents, to feel the calm of a world that is never in a hurry. And now, from this wide view, you feel yourself drawn down again toward a single location on one of those drifting continents. You are returning to the surface, to a warm, quiet forest of ancient trees. But this time, you are not here for the whole forest. You are here for a single tree, a conifer standing in the stillness, and for a tiny, golden drop that is slowly forming on its bark. You have come to witness the patient creation of amber. The forest around you is humid and green, filled with the soft buzz of unseen insects and the rustle of leaves in a breeze so faint it feels like a thought. Tall araucarias and cypresses rise around you, their trunks straight and their branches high. The air smells of resin, a sweet, sharp scent that seems to hold the warmth of the sun. You move close to one of these trees, a sturdy conifer with rough, reddish bark, and you notice a glistening bead of resin oozing from a small crack. It is golden, translucent, and incredibly slow, moving so thick that it barely flows at all. The sun catches it, and it glows like a tiny, captured sunbeam. You watch as the resin bulges outward, growing drop by infinitesimal drop, a process that will take days to form a single teardrop shape. There is no rush. The tree is not wounded in a way that causes pain. it is simply sealing a fissure, protecting itself with a slow, steady exudation of liquid time. As you watch, a tiny insect, a small midge, lands on the bark nearby. It walks with delicate steps, exploring the crevices of the trunk. Unaware of the golden substance just millimeters away, and in the immense slowness of this moment, the midge eventually touches the edge of the resin. It does not struggle, does not panic. The resin is so thick, so sticky, that the insect's movement simply slows, then ceases, as if it is gently held in a warm embrace. More resin flows, covering the midge by slow degrees, encasing it in a golden lens. There is no violence, no finality, only a soft, quiet preservation, as if the forest itself is tucking the tiny creature into bed for a very long sleep. You watch as the resin continues to flow, building up layers around the insect, each layer taking decades to harden, to polymerize, to become the substance that will one day be called amber. The midge becomes a tiny, dark shape suspended in honeyed light, its wings still visible, its form perfect and still. And over centuries, the tree grows around the resin, bark swelling to envelope it, protecting it as it slowly hardens and falls to the forest floor, to be covered by soil and leaves and more time. You let yourself drift with that piece of amber as it sinks into the soft ground. Around it, the forest changes. The conifers give way to other species, the climate cools, the sea approaches and retreats, but the amber remains, buried deeper and deeper. A quiet time capsule. The pressure of the overlying sediment does not crush it, but gently presses it, polishing it, clarifying it, until it becomes a smooth, clear window into a single, frozen moment. Holding that amber in your mind is like holding a piece of deep time, warm and light, comforting in its quiet eternity, and the insect within, forever resting, demands nothing. It is a silent companion on your journey, a reminder of the peace that comes when all struggle ceases. Gently, the forest around you fades, and the air grows cooler. The trees thin out, replaced by tundra, and then by snow. You have drifted forward in time to an ice age, but not to a time of bitter cold and howling winds. You have arrived at the very edge of a great ice sheet, where the glacier meets the land in a calm, silent embrace. The world here is white and gray and blue, muted and peaceful. Snow falls softly, endlessly, huge flakes that drift down like feathers, muffling all sound, covering everything in a blanket of quiet. You stand, or rather float, at the snout of a glacier. It is a wall of ice that glows a pale, translucent blue, cracked here and there with white fractures that look like frozen lightning. The ice is not advancing aggressively. It is creeping forward at the pace of a few centimeters a day, so slow that you cannot perceive its movement. It simply is massive and silent, its foot resting on a bed of ground moraine, a jumble of clay, silt, and rocks that the ice has carried here from far away, then gently released as it melted. The melting is so gradual that you can see individual drops of water forming at the ice face, catching the dim light, sliding down in slow, silver streaks. The air is cold but still, and the snow that falls does not whip or sting, it floats, each flake a delicate 6 pointed star, settling on your imaginary skin with the lightest of touches. Then vanishing, you float up along the surface of the glacier, seeing it stretch back into the distance. A river of ice flowing so slowly that it seems entirely frozen. But it does flow, grain by grain, crystal by crystal. As ice deforms under its own weight, the molecules slipping past each other in a solid state creep that is among the most patient movements in the natural world. You look down into a crevasse, and it is not a jagged chasm, but a smooth wave-like opening, its walls polished to a velvety sheen by the sliding of ice. The deep blue light that filters through the ice is calming, like the light at the bottom of a swimming pool, and you feel yourself drawn into that blueness, into the heart of the glacier where time seems to stand still. Inside the ice, you can see layers, each one a year's snowfall compressed into a thin, clear band. You trace them with your gaze, these annual rings of frozen time, each one a quiet record of a season that came and went without hurry. Bubbles of ancient air are trapped in the ice, tiny spherical fossils of atmospheres past, and they sparkle as the light catches them, a soft, diffused glitter. The glacier is a library of stillness, each layer a page, and as you drift through its translucent depths, you feel a profound sense of calm. This ice has been here for tens of thousands of years, and it will be here for many more, creeping, melting, reforming, in an endless, soothing cycle that mirrors the ebb and flow of your own breath. You emerge from the ice at the glacier's surface, where the snow continues to fall, and you see the landscape that the glacier is gently shaping. Ahead of you, the ice has carved a U-shaped valley, but not with violence. It has simply, over millennia, plucked rock fragments from the valley floor and carried them along, grinding the bedrock into a smooth, polished surface that gleams in the low light. The valley is broad and soft, its sides sloping gently, its bottom flat and filled with a small, still lake that reflects the gray sky. Erratic boulders, carried from far away, lie scattered on the surface like sleeping animals, and moraines curl in graceful arcs, marking where the ice once paused and rested before retreating further. The retreat is happening now, and it is as gentle as a sleeper drawing back a blanket, millimeter by millimeter, year by year, leaving behind a fresh, clean, newly revealed land that will slowly come to life. You watch as the edge of the glacier drops a stone, a single rounded cobble, onto a pile of moraine. The stone clinks softly, the sound swallowed by the snow, and then settles into place. It will lie there for 1,000 years, maybe 10,000, until a stream cuts through the moraine and carries it away to a river, to a sea, to a new bed of sediment. The cycle continues, round and round, rock to sediment, sediment to rock, mountain to plain, plain to mountain. And you are a part of that cycle now, not as a participant who must labor, but as a quiet observer who drifts along its currents, at peace with the vastness of time. And now, the snow begins to thin, and the light grows warmer. The glacier recedes into the distance, and you find yourself rising once more, carried upward through the atmosphere, through the soft white clouds, into the calm, dark space above. You look down at the earth, a blue and white marble turning slowly beneath you, and you see all the places you have visited, the ancient seafloor with its patient rain of sediment, the chalk sea filled with drifting coccoliths, the Carboniferous swamp where peat accumulated in silence, the cave where stalactites grew drop by drop, the old mountain being softened by streams and wind, the continents sliding apart on their deep, slow currents, the amber forest where resin preserved a moment in time, and the glacier where ice crept and melted in a rhythm older than memory. All these places exist at once, in the deep time of the earth, and you have drifted through them without leaving a trace, without hurry, without need. The journey completes, but it does not end sharply. It simply softens. Like the last light of dusk, the earth below you continues to turn, and you feel the pull of rest growing stronger. The images of ancient seas and quiet caves begin to blend, becoming a gentle, formless comfort. The memory of sediment falling through sunlit water lingers in your mind, a calming image you can return to whenever you need. The sound of dripping water in the cave, the soft hiss of snow on the glacier, the distant scent of resin and pine, all these sensations are still with you, woven into a tapestry of peace. You have traveled through deep time, and you have seen that everything is slow, everything is patient, everything is held in a rhythm that does not demand your attention. You can let go now, fully into that rhythm, and the journey continues. Always, the sediment still falls, unseen, in the depths of the sea. The stalactite still grows, drop by drop, in the dark. The continents still move, the mountains still soften, the resin still flows, the ice still creeps, and you are still here, cradled in the quiet expanse of geological time, safe and still, drifting without effort. There is no need to wait, no need to hold on. You can simply float in the deep, slow pulse of the earth, and let sleep come as gently as a grain of sand settling onto the ocean floor. The ancient world holds you, and you rest